Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What's going on, Fantasy Champs? My name's Morgan Colby. I got Rick Lemon with me as always.
What's going on?
It is now. I was actually going to look this up today because the season is not fast approaching. But we're inching. Rookie mini camps are this month, and offseason team activities starting in June, and then late July training camp. So, I think we're moving.
We are moving. The problem is from this after the NFL draft, the preseason is the long haul.
17
pretty much,
Sundays.
Yeah, it's pretty much just summer.
Yeah, which I don't mind it.
Yeah, I don't mind it either.
We got other sports to watch, but as soon as those sports end in maybe early July, early to late July, maybe at the end, it's just gonna. Well, see, when the NBA Finals is gonna be early July, right?
Yes,
or sooner, maybe late June, but hockey usually is before that, so they're gonna be later. So that
actually, I think it will be in June. I think both.
Okay, so then July floats around, and that's when training camp starts. So I'll be good. There's just gonna be a 2-week span where I'm gonna have to force myself to watch baseball.
Yeah,
or I could just watch film and get ready for the season.
That's when I go on vacation.
Yeah, that's when I go on vacation. But anyway, so the NFL draft just ended 2 weeks ago. And we've been doing some rookie stuff. We did NFL draft winners and losers last week. We're going to do a final rookie mock draft this week, and then also jump into analyzing some of the rookies. This will be our final show pertaining directly to rookies and mostly dynasty stuff. On Thursday, but we are going to give you our top 5 rookies for the 2022 fantasy football season. It only pertains to the 2022 season, not beyond. So we will try to rank those guys, give you the guys that we think are going to have breakout years in year one. And then we got an interesting couple of months planned. So it should be fun. It should be a fun go around.
Yeah,
some
excited.
Real mock drafts coming up too.
It's gonna be interesting because we kind of talked about landing spots post NFL draft, but we didn't really get too much into pretty much.
So we'll see where we want guys to go or where we'd like.
Yeah, because we had our opinions pre-draft about a lot of players.
If we do this draft fast enough, maybe we can go out after and talk about. Just pulled the hair out of my microphone. Look at a draft previous to our 3.0 mock draft and see what it looked like prior to that.
Sure.
But anyway, before we do that, check our website, fantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all those platforms. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcast platforms, please leave a review, share this podcast with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and then comment down below any questions you may or may not have pertaining to the great old show that we do here. Are you ready to do a mock draft, Rick?
Let's do it.
All right. So we'll just jump right in. I might pull up the previous mock draft after this, and we can do that because that sounds more interesting than anything else.
Compare the two, yeah. I think that would be interesting.
All right. So you ready to get started?
Yep.
Started, dude. What that Boston accent? Would you say that
Let's get started.
Would you say that I have a Boston accent?
I don't think so, but maybe ask someone from Alabama. I'll have a different answer.
I feel like that's the. I'll ask somebody from the West Coast because they don't.
Yeah,
really
I have. My mom to me does not sound like she has an accent whatsoever, but my roommate told me that he thinks she does from the Midwest. I'm like, I don't think she does at all. Do you think she does? Like a little bit of a Boston accent with some of her words.
Interesting. I don't know. I've never really.
Yeah, I don't. I'm like, no, I don't think she does.
I'm used to people out here just no R's whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel like we have accents, but
no.
I mean,
Well, I try not to.
Again,
I do on purpose say words without R's to make it sound like I have a Boston accent as a joke, but I don't feel like
pack
I
your can. Yeah.
But I also don't live near Boston. They're just people who are like super into the sax. You just get deep into the Boston accent. But anyway.
Right.
All right. You ready to get this started?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, start draft. So hopefully this starts rolling here. I can see it on my iPad screen, but it's not appearing on my regular.
Oh, it did for
computer.
me.
Yeah, it's strange. I'm gonna reload the page just to fix it on my computer because that's where I'll be drafting.
Well, the first picks weren't surprising. Breece Hall went number 1.
That fixed it.
He's like kind of the consensus number 1 now, I think, after landing spots.
Yep.
Kenneth Walker 2, Drake London 3, and now you have your choice between a couple good players here.
I don't know. There's a lot of really good players. I know Rick's pick would be Garrett Wilson.
Yes. That
would be your pick. It's funny that in a Superflex Dynasty League, the first two players off the board are running backs. That just is weird to me.
I know. It's just the draft.
Now, this is actually based on where things go in my mind. This is where I would consider taking Kenny Pickett.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I would take him 1-2, but he's a first-round pick quarterback. He's going to get a decent shot with Pittsburgh. I don't know what it's going to be.
He's in a fantastic landing spot.
He's in a fantastic landing spot. And the big thing about Pittsburgh, too, is that like the job there is not Mitch's. It's an open battle. And so, like last year when Mac got drafted to the Patriots, it was Bill Belichick saying, Cam's our quarterback, and then Mac won the job. But this sounds like it's clearly like, listen, if we want to, we're going to throw Kenny Pickett out there.
Right.
So, I mean, he could be a guy that makes an impact year 1, and you can maybe get a couple of performances at your super flex spot. So it's not a bad pick to go here, but I'm gonna have to go with Traylon Berks, and the main purpose and reason behind this pick is honestly, as I look at the landing spots and the situations, like I've talked about how this particular class there's no transitional, Jamar Chase like wide receiver. I really don't feel like. I think the only guy that maybe had that upside before the ACL injury was Jameson Williams.
Yeah.
But I don't feel like Garrett Wilson's great, and he's probably like if he got drafted on a slightly better situation than the New York Jets, he'd probably be the 101 right now, or the number 1 wide receiver taken. But to me, Traylon Berks kind of lands in a perfect spot for him to produce year 1 and an opportunity to explode into the future. Now, Rick has talked about how Tennessee is kind of on the downswing offensively, so that could be a bad thing for Traylon Berks moving into the future, but I think at least impact-wise year 1, they're going to look at him as A.J. Brown. So
yes.
I like him in that role and in that context, and we'll see if it works, but I think he's going to get the most opportunity at least out the gate.
Right. Yeah, I love Traylon Berks as well. Personally, I think I would have highly considered taking him at your spot. Mm-hmm. I think him, London, and Wilson, all 3 of those wide receivers are all in the same tier.
Yeah.
I keep going back and forth. I started off with Wilson pre-draft as my wide receiver 1, then I had London, and now I think I'm back to Wilson. But London and Berks and Wilson are all in that top tier. They're all extremely similar.
Yep.
And if you wanted to take one over the other, I don't mind it. Berks year one, I think, will probably be the best of the three. So it's not a bad pick at all. Mm-hmm. In terms of Pickett, I'm kind of with you. Personally, though, the way I view it as, I do think he got the best landing spot possibly could have with the Steelers.
Yeah.
But he's not really a rushing quarterback, and he's going to have to put up really big numbers in the NFL to be a top.
He kind of reminds me slightly of Ryan Tannehill in terms of what he does for quarterback production. Like, he does provide a base floor, like a small floor when it comes to rushing. And we've seen that like propel him into the top 10 at quarterback. But no, I agree with you. I don't see like a massive ceiling for Kenny Pickett. I think he could end up a top 12 quarterback. I just don't.
Would you want to take like a Derek Carr, a Kirk Cousins type of, or Ryan Tannehill, a good quarterback, but are you taking him in the top 5 in this Superflex? Like, would you trade a top 5 pick for one of those guys? Maybe. Like, you definitely consider it in the Superflex league, but
I think Pickett has a higher fantasy ceiling than that. Like, I look at Mac Jones and I see the Derek Carrs, at least in fantasy football, the Derek Carrs.
So you think Pickett has a higher fantasy ceiling?
Yeah, I think he has a higher fantasy ceiling than that. But that's because he's more athletic than those guys. So, he's not a rushing quarterback, but he's a guy that is more athletic and will, maybe get 10, 20, 30 rushing yards a game, which is not a lot, but
yeah, if he could do that, then that definitely puts him in that category. But I have one guy significantly higher than him, and that's my wide receiver 1 or 1B. Garrett Wilson. I know the Jets' landing spot is.
Bro, I find it hilarious that all of your guys just keep going to the Jets.
It's bro. It's not like I'm trying to do this. It's every pre-draft. Last year,
Breece Hall's your boy.
We had Breece Hall was my RB1.
Bro, you were talking
Garrett
about
Wilson
Sauce Gardner before last year.
I was talking about Sauce Gardner like months ago because I liked his name. And then last year when we were talking,
I want to see if you know
pre-draft, it's like Ahmed or something like
Ahmad.
that.
Yeah,
Ahmad something. Last year pre-draft, we had like name one wide receiver that's not like in the top 5 who you think could be a top 5 rookie receiver, and I said Elijah Moore, and then he went to the Jets.
Yeah.
So if the Jets are good this year, I'm going to consider myself an NFL GM, basically. But yeah, Garrett Wilson to me, number 1 pre-draft. I think he's just the most talented of the bunch. Is the Jets landing spot great? To me, no, not really. It could be better than
expected.
Sure, it all depends on Zach Wilson. But if Zach Wilson is good, Garrett Wilson's probably going to be at least the 1A, 1B wide receiver on a potentially good offense. So name the Jets in New York, people are going to look down and frown upon, and they have. Garrett Wilson went 106.
But they have the quarterback.
Just did. I've seen on Twitter him go as low as 1.7, 1.8, which pre-draft you would not have saw that at all. So I'm very comfortable with taking Garrett Wilson here at the 1.5. And I think draft is stalled right now for some reason.
Nice. That's good.
Yeah.
It's not on my app. It is on the computer though. But after Rick's pick, Kenny Pickett went 1.6, which is where he's been going. We have Chris Olave, Jameson Williams, Sky Moore, Christian Watson. So that is how rookie first rounds have been looking from the drafts that I've been doing. That seems about right. And I don't know, like that's kind of, I mean, Olave I think is a little lower, but I think there's some question marks in New Orleans that, begs the question. So,
sure. He landed in a good spot.
Yeah, he did land in a good spot.
Like, he's going to be the wide receiver too right away.
I don't know if for dynasty purposes, like I feel like for Olave, like there's a good opportunity for him to be a number 1 wide receiver, at least not a number 1 wide receiver, but a good producing wide receiver in year 1, as opposed to like, maybe a guy like Garrett Wilson, who year 1 probably won't make a splash, but then year 2, 3, or 4, when Wilson starts to get more comfortable, you could see, Zach Wilson get more comfortable. Garrett Wilson will start to see a lot more success. I think the talent guys like Jamison Williams, Garrett Wilson, maybe not going to the best landing spots, will end up being relatively decent, but
it might take time with them.
It might take time, and they have higher ceilings than I think an Olave or even a Drake London does. But sheer opportunity gives guys like London, Berks, and Olave kind of an edge up, at least early on.
Yes. Yeah.
On those guys. Agreed. After the first round, 2-1, George Pickens 2-2, Jahan Dotson, and then James Cook, who should be, in my opinion, the RB3 off the board, goes at 2-3, and it's my pick. Now, I have some thoughts on Rachaad White.
Okay.
Because they're getting excited about Rachaad White. It's Tampa Bay. You have Tom Brady. Rojo's out of the backfield. They're psyched up for Rachaad White. All I'm seeing on Twitter is, let's go Rachaad White. Now, I just wanted to let you know.
Might have been a burner.
Rachaad White. What did you just say? You have a burner?
I said that might have been a burner of mine. To go ahead.
Yeah. Rachaad White, selected by Tampa Bay as the number as a third round pick, number 91 in the NFL draft. Okay. I looked up another running back who I have some shares of. His name is Keyshawn Vaughn. And
why do you have shares of Keyshawn Vaughn?
I drafted him. So
you did?
I don't know if he's going to be good. I'm not a Keyshawn Vaughn truther, by the way. This has nothing to do with Keyshawn Vaughn. He was selected also in the third round by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as the 76th overall selection. Okay. Now, we can talk about talent. We can talk about how exciting he is. I like the player. But just because he got drafted in the third round, 20-something picks earlier by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, does not mean this is a good investment for your dynasty team, especially as high as he has been going. People are real excited about Rachaad White, and I personally feel like this could be another selection like Keyshawn Vaughn, where like he could be redshirted year one, he could be redshirted year one and or just end up the third running back on the roster behind two other guys and not get any playing time. And then you're sitting there a year and a half, 2 years later going, okay, what do I do with Rachaad White? He has some good things about him. I like his ceiling when it comes to pass catching. I like all of that. But I don't know what the expectation is and the ceiling is for a guy like Rachaad White, especially when you still have Leonard Fournette there. And people have just looked right by Keyshawn Vaughn. And he was also a third-round pick. He's a guy that they're probably going to at least give a shot to in training camp or in the preseason. So I don't know how easy it is for Rachaad White to make this leap. If he ends up being the Tampa Bay Buccaneers RB1 in like 2 years, is that a good thing? Because when TB12 leaves, Tampa's going to hell.
That's very true.
So I just don't see the ceiling or the upside for Rachaad White. I'm not a Rachaad White hater. I like him. If he was a third round pick, smash. Like I'm all on board with that. But I need people to start tempering their excitement for Rachaad White and what they think he's going to be. I honestly, bro, I think in redraft he's gonna get taken way too high based on what I've been seeing in hype.
Yeah, he might.
He's gonna get hyped up, and I'm not for it.
So who are you gonna take that?
Okay, that's a good. I thought you had some thoughts on White, but
I do, but I'll get to
all right because they probably differ. I'm gonna take a quarterback. Okay. Yeah. Question, by the way, why the freak is David Bell so high?
Landing spot.
Is that a good thing?
It definitely is,
such
but
an overrated receiver.
He was 99th overall.
I'd rather have Anthony Schwartz.
Okay, well, I don't know if I'd go that far. It's a little much. But.
All right, so
your RB4 pre-draft in Houston?
I think it's it's obviously between Ritter and Willis.
Okay. I know who I would take between those two. It's not close to me, but
I'm just gonna take my guy. I'm gonna take Willis.
good pick.
Was that the guy?
Yes.
Okay. Good.
Yes.
I was gonna say like because Ritter, they've actually like the Falcons has talked about him as like this is the guy. Like they're gonna fight for the starting job, all that stuff as a third round pick. And Willis does not have that right now.
No.
Although I've been hearing rumblings that if he does show out in camp and play well, he could take Tannehill's job, which would be hilarious.
I do not expect that. But what I do think, dude, Trey Lance last year was drafted as a top 3 pick in rookie drafts, knowing full well that he was going to sit at least like a part of the season. So Malik Willis is probably going to sit at least a year behind Tannehill. In 2023, I would not be surprised at all if Willis is able to take away the job. Because to me, Tannehill is getting old. He's 34. Mm-hmm. He's not that good of a quarterback anyway. I mean, sometimes when he's on, he's not bad. But this past year, he was horrible. He had like 14 touchdowns, 13 interceptions or something. He was not good. Mm-hmm. If he has another year like that and Willis develops, I think there's a real chance Willis is the starter. And if Willis is a very risky pick in the second round, obviously, because he might not play for a year or two. Yeah. But if he does get his chance, he was the 101, 102 pre-draft for a reason. He's a rushing quarterback who's got a big arm and a lot of upside. If he gets the ability to play, he's going to be great for fantasy.
The question,
and you could be getting a top 10 quarterback there.
Exactly. And I think if he works out,
it's a risk. But
if he works out, he's similar to that of Lamar Jackson and what he provides for fantasy, aspects. And so like if he works out and he starts with the rushing and the passing ability, like I think he has the ceiling of being the best quarterback taken in this 2022 rookie draft over Kenny Pickett.
Yes.
The problem that you have is he could either, and this is why it's a massive risk in the second round, is that he could either be, like what was the intention for Tennessee? Why did they take him in the third round? Is this just a backup for Tannehill, a dart throw in hopes that maybe he shows up in camp and he ends up being better than they thought, and then in a year, it's an investment to, like Trey Lance with the 49ers, and they just want to sit behind Tannehill for a year, and then they'll give him the starting job and see what he's got for a year before they decide to go with another quarterback in 24. Or was this a pick where he's just going to be a backup, and that was their intention for him, and their goal is if the Titans have a crappy year this year, they go after a quarterback in next year's draft. I don't know what the intention was, but it's a third round pick, so the value wasn't like
right. The draft capital wasn't there. Like
the draft capital wasn't there, so it's like if the draft capital's not there with the player, then I could totally see Tennessee saying, "Screw this."
Sure.
I'm going to go after a quarterback in, next year's class. I mean, the Pats took Bradley Zappe or whatever the frig his name is in the fourth round, and they already have a rookie quarterback that they drafted a previous year. So it's like this round and this area for quarterbacks usually means you're a backup, but because he was like the third or fourth quarterback taken off the board, and there was anticipation that he was supposed to be a top 10 pick even in some people's mind, it could be that the Titans saw him on the board in the third round and was like,
we have
to do this. Like, so if that happens, and I think they did that more than Atlanta did with Ritter, to be honest with you. I think Ritter is a dart throw and a hope that, maybe Mariota does blow. Let's throw Ritter out there, and if he blows, we're going for Bryce Young. You know what I mean? Or CJ Stroud, like one of those two guys. So I take Malik Willis because of the rushing upside. If you like Desmond Ritter because you believe, in his potential to produce sooner, then that's fine. But anyway, that's kind of my reasoning.
So so here I actually would, if you were in a tight end premium league, I would probably take Trey McBride here. I think he landed in a great landing spot, good draft capital. He's not going to produce right away because of Zach Ertz, but no rookie tight end ever does.
Yep.
But he's going to be with Kyler Murray for the next few years.
Right.
once he gets going. So he's a great landing spot. I would consider taking him here. I'm going to play devil's advocate, though.
Okay.
And Rachaad White. So you made all great points, okay? I'm not disputing anything you said, and there's a real risk factor with White. But pre-draft, we both liked him as our third best running back. Yep. And the thing that White does so well is the pass catching, right? Mm-hmm. He's a great pass catching back. So he has a chance because of that. He fits in perfectly with Tampa. He's going to earn Brady's trust. Yeah. It's a matter of beating out Keyshawn Vaughn. I think White, and the difference between, at least for me, I never thought Keyshawn Vaughn was good. I still don't think he's very good. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a reason the Bucs drafted a running back in the third round. And if they thought Vaughn was good, they probably wouldn't have done that, in my opinion. So I think White has a good chance of overtaking Vaughn for that. And if he does, he fits in perfectly, even just as the third down back. He's going to produce fantasy-wise in a Tampa offense for year one. Going forward, will he be in a good offense? Probably not. Mm-hmm. But by then, he will at least be the starting running back, most likely with Fournette gone as well.
Right.
And, his ceiling's not that high because of it, but you're still getting a starting running back at the 2.5, which is good value.
I just don't think he's going to... it looks like they drafted him for a role.
Sure.
And that might just be pass catching. For Brady. Sure. But
at this point in the draft,
it just doesn't look long term to me.
At this point in the draft,
it's okay, let's throw a dart and hope it sticks.
Sure. No, I get it. But Fournette is also historically a very injury-prone player. I think last year was his only year where he played a full season, and even then, I don't think he played all 17 games. If I'm correct. Yeah, he's never played a full season in his career.
Yeah.
He usually is good to miss 3 or 4 games a season. Mm-hmm. I think White at this point in the draft is fine.
Right.
All the big receivers are gone. And then at this point in the draft, you're looking at guys like Ritter, to me, who I'm not high on. David Bell,
Dameon Pierce.
Dameon Pierce, if you're high on him, sure. But if you're not, then he's just a 4th round pick.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at guys like Mechie and Wan'Dale Robinson, who, what are their ceilings exactly? And unless you want to go McBride here, then I think that's fair. And then Alex Pierce, who I like, but it's a little early for him. So I'm going to go with White.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not, like I said, it's not a horrible pick. I just think that the expectations that some people have.
Yeah. Well, that's the difference between me and Twitter.
Well, way, 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 way too high. It's like people are just getting amped up.
I'm not taking
about
White.
A player who could just end up like Keyshawn Vaughn, and to be honest with you, probably will.
I'm not taking White expecting him to be, this perfect.
But my thing is that even if year one, obviously the bright, starry-eyed future of what you think could happen with Rachaad White is, he starts. And Fournette is, hurt or he disappears or whatever, and Rachaad White starts, gets the full work, gets pass catching, all that stuff, and that would be the brightest picture that you could paint for him. But I think his role, if they want to utilize him the way I think they are, is going to be pass catching. But he's got to earn that spot because I think Vaughn's going to be there too, looking for some kind of work now that Ronald Jones is gone. So he's in a battle for second on a team that has another running back that likes to throw the football. So it's just to me, I don't see the ceiling for Rachaad White, but all the power to you. After your pick, Dameon Pierce, Desmond Ritter, Isaiah Spiller, Trey McBride, Sam Howell, Matt Carroll. Sam Howell way too high. 5th round pick quarterback getting drafted 210. Way to go, sleeper.
That's insane.
Woods and then Greg Dulcich. I've seen Dulcich go in the 4th round, which I think
I was going to say Greg Dulcich
is robbery, to be honest with you.
It is robbery in the 4th round, but ahead of guys like some of the receivers on the board right now.
Oh, yeah. No, that doesn't make sense. But Dulcich, he's a smash 4th round, end, right? Late 3rd, early 4th round. Yeah, he's been a receiving tight end. The big thing is that he is the Noah Fant replacement, and they used a 3rd round pick on him. he's going to replace Noah Fant. I don't know why people have not picked up on that. And they also have Russell Wilson, who has thrown it to the tight end position a little bit. So I'm not really sure why he's not higher on boards.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, at my pick, I'm going to go John Mechie. That's not even a question. My guy. 3rd round. Easy money. 3-4 for John Mechie is a good pick. There's some value there, so you should be fine.
Yeah. I actually would consider taking David Bell here, just based on 3rd round landing spot. Sure, it's a dart throw, but he's not my guy. My guy is Alec Pierce. I liked him pre-draft. He landed. He had 2nd round draft capital, and he goes in a good landing spot with the Colts. So all 3 things were a plus for him. I think it's a very good value there in the 3rd round.
Now I've been noticing in a lot of rookie drafts after the 3rd round, there seems to be or late 3rd, there seems to be a big run on running backs for whatever reason, and I'm kind of just stealing candy from a baby.
I don't get that one. The only reason we did a draft together, I took Brian Robinson in the 4th round, and that was just because I have Gibson. That was the only reason I did it, because he's a handcuff. For the other guys, what is his name? The guy that the 49ers drafted, the running back, Tyron Davis Price.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
He's just going to be like a special teamer that, Kyle Shanahan might make him the starting running back, sweaty. So I guess. But yeah, I don't understand.
So after Rick's pick, we had David Bell, Brian Robinson, Bradley Zappi, Tyler Aguilar. Yeah, I don't understand. Tyler Davis Price, Cade Otton, Carson Strong, and then some guy that got drafted by Pittsburgh. Aluka Alad. Yeah, you guys, Team 3 really stretching over here.
Okay.
But that leaves Wan'Dale Robinson, who has been a projected late 2nd round pick on the board, and I'll take Wan'Dale in the 4th round. So
I mean, we're both kind of people on Twitter are treating Wan'Dale like he's a 1st round pick. Mm-hmm. I've literally seen people, because he's produced so high in college. I have seen takes to say to take him over Sky Moore, Christian Watson, George Pickens. That is a real thing. And I think those people are a little extreme. Now, in the 4th round, though, Robinson is stealing.
Smash and grab.
Even late 3rd.
Mechie probably shouldn't even gone over him, but I love Mechie, so.
Yeah. And then to me here, I do like my guy, Khalil Shakir. Landed in a good landing spot too, but 5th round capital kind of tough. I'll take Jalen Tolbert. He could be the wide receiver 3 on the Cowboys, and he had 3rd round capital, so not bad for a 4th round pick.
Yeah. Bunch of tight ends went after Rick's pick, and a backup quarterback for the Miami Dolphins. So good job, Superflex, kicking butt and taking names. We do not have time to go over the previous mock draft, but there you go.
It is different, though.
It is different, very different. I drafted Traylon Berks, Malik Willis, John Mechie, Wan'Dale Robinson. Rick, who you got?
That was a home run. Garrett Wilson, Rashad White, Alex Pierce, and Jalen Tolbert.
Yeah, dude. There you have it. Rookie draft. We're going to talk about top 5 rookies on Thursday. We'll see you then.
See you.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube, and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.